Hi, it's Sin. Welcome to the pre-patch podcast. You maybe want to check out the patch notes.
So Starfield was obviously one of the big hard hitters for this one. In fact, they gave it its own direct, yeah, like its own thing after the initial Xbox showcase. It had the Starfield showcase essentially. I was personally pleasantly surprised with how it looked, considering the last
a big upgrade from what it was.
Considering the last time that we saw Starfield, it didn't look great.
Rough.
Yeah, and hey, look at Todd Howard's actually dressed appropriately. Like he's not just coming off the little beach.
He's not hungover and drunk at the beach with a green screen behind him.
So it's I'm personally extremely impressed with it. Now, granted, me being impressed with it does not mean that I'm like hype as fuck for this game, because I'm still very on the fence.
We got to be skeptical. You have to be.
I'm still very on the fence about it. Like,
I mean,
coming off of Redfall, coming off of fucking Fallout 76,
Fallout 4 technically too, because it wasn't as well received by community.
True. But coming off of those and just coming into this, I'm very skeptical about it. But from the gameplay that we did see in this, which I'll try and skip ahead a little bit. I think we're going right into some right now. It looks good.
Thanks, Todd.
It doesn't look terrible. Like, honestly, right here, this soul expanse right here that they had on this first bit of gameplay, I was like, okay, Bethesda, I see you. I still see the fucking Gabriel engine or whatever it's fucking called. Like, I still see the jank. I can still see the pop in on occasion.
But the jank gives it extra flavor, right?
Yeah,
it's not a good flavor, but
it's that Bethesda
spice. It's like if you drop your food on the floor but you do pick it up after before the 5 seconds. There's still a little bit of something extra on there, but I think
Bethesda is like the 10-second rule, though.
It's for me. It's more like you dump out, or like you get the salt shaker and you accidentally dump the entire salt shaker, and that's that's what Bethesda games are.
Why is it so spicy?
So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think, because like I know Bill, you were a huge proponent of like not enjoying the last one. You didn't like the way that it looked. I was kind of with you, but I was kind of on the fence with it. I don't remember what you had said about it, Scruffy. I think you were kind of the same as me. You were kind of on the fence about it.
You got to be on the fence. You got to be like, that's just how it has to be. Honestly, this is a little thing with me personally, from little young Scruffy. When I first played Fallout New Vegas 2 for the first time, I fell in love with Bethesda games, and I was always asking for a space themed Bethesda game. And so when I heard about Starfield announcing, I was there, but it's just over the years they've crushed my soul. So sure. I want to love it, trust me, but I have to wait and see. I can't have that heartbreak again. My heartstrings are on a thread.
I think I'm right there with you. Yeah. What were you going to say, Bill? Sorry.
The first showcase they showed, I thought it looked pretty rough and not great. There's definitely hitching even with the 30 FPS in the last one. This one has smoothed things out tremendously from what we have seen of the gameplay.
So I like the snappiness. This isn't some staged. I mean, it is, but it's not all. It doesn't feel staged, right?
So just to touch base as well. I just so we're completely visible with everything, right? They did come out, Bethesda and Todd Howard did come out and say that this would be locked on Xbox Series S and X to 30 frames a second.
Right. PC can go
PC is upwards of 60 to 100 depending on the game, the capture card or the card.
I think it's uncapped.
It's uncapped, but they did say that on Xbox Series X and S, it's capped to 30 frames a second. The one thing that I will say is that, like, I'm pretty sure that they were playing on an Xbox Series X, if I remember correctly. It looks smooth. Like at 30, even for 30 FPS, this looks really smooth to me. And the combat doesn't look as janky as the last time that we saw combat, right? Like the combat in the last one,
it looks fluent and snappy.
The combat in the last one reminded me of like Fallout 3 combat, right? Like it was very clunky. It was very like janky. It was not not smooth at all. In this one, it looks a lot more smooth. So I'm
Did you
curious.
notice they blurred out the background on this guy? You can't see the background anymore. They watched our video.
They were like, yeah, we can't have like that's the same couch. They're like, we can't have the pre-patch podcast saying shit about it anymore, man.
But no, I
God.
had to rewatch this showcase after I initially watched it because I felt like I was being too harsh on it after an initial watch, and I am more interested in it after like casually watching it this morning than I was like whenever this was going on live.
For sure.
There's a lot to be excited about. I still have my concerns. Todd
So do I.
Howard does Todd Howard
100%.
things on
You
stage
got it.
and
Yeah.
says things that while it does generate hype, gives me PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah.
Plus, I think he took a few pages out of Seth Murray's script because I was getting very much No Man's Sky feel from some of his commentary on things.
Yeah,
So,
some of the promises or whatever.
yeah. Now, that being said, I have no doubts that this is going to come out in a better state than what No Man's Sky originally came out in.
So that's saying a lot, man. I don't know. We'll see.
You don't know about that?
I don't know about that. We'll see. Because like the biggest ones that like the biggest red flags for me were procedurally generated worlds. That's a huge red flag for me after No Man's
really?
Sky. Yeah. The worlds aren't. So wait. The worlds themselves are procedurally generated, but there is handcrafted elements into them. So they're not procedurally generated in the factor of like every time you go, like if I went down onto a planet, it's going to be different than when you go down to the planet. They're procedurally generated to be crafted. Like they were originally procedurally generated, and then they had handcrafted assets applied to them. Okay. That's
so
what I'm
going to be different every time.
They're not going to be different every time, but when they first got generated, they were procedurally generated, right? So I'm curious to see. Bethesda's not great. Bethesda's not great with fixing fuck ups, right? So I'm curious. I'm going to be really curious to see if like they didn't catch the procedurally generated fuck ups like that we had in No Man's Sky, where it was like you had cliffs that just ended nowhere, right?
Most likely.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I will say that like I think it will be in a better place than No Man's Sky was originally, but
on release,
I don't think that this is going to be a competitor for No Man's Sky right now. If that makes any sense.
Really?
Yeah. No,
I've heard
think
people saying this is the game of the century, like already from
no
what they've
fucking
seen.
way.
This is going to be
no fucking
the
way,
most
man.
revolutionary game to come out in
Wow.
this like decade.
I don't think so.
Who's paying these like people?
That's some Bethesda bullshittery right there, man. That's
and then
some,
I've also seen people like latching on to the 30 FPS as this game is trash based on that factor alone.
Yeah, I mean that
you can't say that. I will like agree. Like I am not a proponent for 30 FPS. It gives me headaches, motion sickness. But I mean, it's still been a thing. Like we've said numerous times with Redfall. Like on consoles.
So my opinion. Okay, we'll kind of branch out again. I'm sorry, we're probably going to go over, guys. It's probably going to be
fine.
more than a tale.
Do it. Fucking do it.
My opinion on the 30 FPS thing. Okay, and we talked about this with Redfall when it came out that Redfall was going to be stuck at 30 FPS, right? And my opinion has not changed from that point forward, right? In my opinion, the only reason why people are getting such like a hard on for going after games when they're stuck at 30 FPS is because they've never, like, this is the very first time really that they've had above 60 FPS in this generation.
They got
generation.
that taste.
Granted, I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that if you're a developer and you're developing for these consoles, you should be aiming for the maximum quality and the maximum frame rate that the console can push out. And granted, I think that this game, in comparison to like Redfall, it's like night and day. Redfall probably could have been 60 FPS if they would have put fucking work into it, right? This game
it will after a patch eventually, is what they keep claiming.
This game
that is a good point to bring up. Is this one they are purposefully locking it?
That's what I was about to say. This game is so vast that I don't think that they could hit 60 FPS. I don't think there's any way that they could hit 60 FPS on a console. Right?
True. Did they state that it was going to be a indefinite lock?
I'm pretty
at 30?
sure. Yes,
They
I'm
said
pretty
that
sure.
it will be locked at 30.
Todd Howard said
So,
that this
okay.
this game was designed for consoles at 30 FPS. So
Now, if Xbox ends up putting out an Xbox Pro Series X
Right.
or whatever, then maybe we
Maybe
could get a
eventually
60
it'll
FPS
unlock.
patch. Which, speaking of, PlayStation is saying that they're going to be putting out their PS5 Pro eventually. I'm surprised that Xbox did not say anything similar. It just kind of keeps leaning into that mindset that they don't really
Well,
care about competing console wise.
you gotta take into fact that again they've basically said that they're done with the war. Like they don't give a fuck. They're like it's whatever. You know, we have a console. If you want to play on it, play on it. If you don't want to play on it, don't play on it.
This
Right.
scene
You know?
really here, that this like outlaw, this was looking good to me.
So to kind of travel back on the 30 FPS thing, I was having a conversation on Twitter with one of my friends, Polo Bornfly. He's kind of in that mindset of like he's kind of in that same mindset of like you barely have touched the surface of 60 FPS on consoles. Why are you bitching? Right? Like this is nothing new to console users, right? And where I can agree with that in some instances, again, it kind of travels down that same route of what I was saying. Like, if you can hit it, you should have no reason not to. You know, like you should be developing for it. I just don't think that they can develop for it with this game, in my opinion.
My take on it is, with the current hardware that is being pushed, there's no reason to not at least have the option.
Well, you know
in
what?
regards to these kinds of things, like
It
I
also
feel
is
like
the Gamebryo engine, though. And the
It is the
Gamebryo
Gamebryo
engine is
engine.
very finicky when it comes to FPS and engine speed.
I was happy to I was happy to hear that the PC version is going to be uncapped, because that means the physics of the game are not capped to the frame rate, which is
I will believe it when I see it.
I was about to say,
I'll believe
that's
it when I see it. I've been asking for that for 14 years, Mike. I don't believe it.
We'll see.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, we will
that
see.
being said, every game that I've played recently console wise has had a performance and
sure.
a resolution mode.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that should be the industry standard. I think
agree.
if you are paying premium prices, $70 plus on top of a console, the developer should at least
wait. You think that's real? I don't know, man.
Oh,
looks like a green screen.
That looks like a green screen.
Yeah, that's a green screen.
But
shit.
But I think, and it might be the entitled gamer in me, I don't think it's that much entitlement to ask for both. I think
I
need
don't.
to appeal to both crowds. There are some crowds that don't give a shit about frames per second. As long as it's stable and plays well, they're going to be fine. Look at Tears of the Kingdom. It's
For sure.
720p 30 FPS, and people are ranting, raving, hooting, and hollering about it.
For sure. Well, and you have games
but
on.
that console also is limited
Exactly.
by the hardware. I don't see a reason why they couldn't have a 1080 60 FPS mode and just have it be an option, unless they're afraid that they're not going to be able to keep it stable.
That's
Which,
probably the biggest.
at that
I don't know,
point,
man, because Todd
concerns about the stability of the game overall.
I don't know, man, because Todd Howard, when he came out, when he did that interview where he told the interviewer basically that it was going to be locked at 30, he said that the game they can get it upwards of 60 on the Xbox Series X and S. He said that it can pretty much
it could get there on PC. I didn't.
No, I'm pretty sure he said that he could get it on the console as well. It's just not stable, right? Like it shifts from 60 to like 50.
Then
and drops
that makes me
that
makes me think that they'll probably unlock it through a patch.
It's
once
possible.
they hit that.
Maybe.
It's
probably best that they don't announce it like that now, because then people will get even more.
Especially after Redfall. Yeah. So that they just left it open. That's all they did.
Yeah. So I
mean,
character customization does not look great, honestly. Like it's the standard Bethesda character creation. Like this right here creeps me the fuck out. I'm sorry.
The smile.
Like why does he look like that? I don't know. That's weird. But Bethesda games have never been great with character customization. And one thing that I wanted to bring up was animations as well. Honestly, like in comparison to like Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas, the facial animations look great. But okay, this is a great point right here, right? So we just barely came into facial animations. This looks terrible. Like it looks better. It looks better than the Fallout 4 animations, but it looks bad. That's
it's
nightmare
still on
fuel,
par
dude.
with Fallout 4.
Yeah.
To me,
I
like
don't.
the eyes. Something about the eyes.
I don't know what
and
it
the
is.
gaping mouth.
I don't know what it is about. And the weird thing is that like there's certain facial animations, like there's certain characters that look like they did a lot of work in getting the facial animations to be decent.
You know what I think it is like they got actors and like to what's the word, to whatever they put the suits on, you know, and
the
do
facial
facial
animations,
yeah,
This.
mocap, yeah. This, but a lot of actors are probably mouth actors. That's
It's
what
very
I'm seeing
possible.
here.
It is very possible. And that's if they actually did
That
the
dude
facial
running
animations.
is hilarious.
This guy.
Do you know what this is?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Scruffy knows. Bill, do you know what this is?
No.
You don't know what this is. Did you ever play more? Was it Morrowind? I think it was Morrowind, right?
I think.
Or was it Oblivion?
So.
It might have been Oblivion. I don't remember. In Morrowind or Oblivion, in one of those games, there was a character, and I'm pretty sure his name was Curio or something like that, right?
It was something like that.
He was like a fan, and it's the exact same thing as right here. This guy rushes up to your character and he's like, oh my god,
Full
I'm your
sprint.
biggest fan. Can I take pictures with you and shit like that? This is a straight up like Easter egg, and I'm so for it. Like, this is so great.
Man.
When I saw this, I was immediately like, they didn't. Like, there's no way that they did that. And
the hair and everything.
The face looks exactly like that brought me back to Morrowind, like Morrowind or Oblivion.
That's what gives us the love for just Bethesda. I feel like, you know, it's just little things like that.
Honestly, like if I'm gonna go back to the facial animations. His facial animations don't look bad.
But he's a goofy motherfucker.
He's a goofy looking motherfucker, but his facial animations don't look terrible. So it's very strange how like it's very certain main, it's almost like main characters or like characters that they wanted to like feature more prevalently have decent facial animations, whereas like side characters are just like the ass end of nowhere with the facial animations.
So I looked into it. It started in Morrowind, and it's been in every been in every game that they've done since.
Yeah, because it just became a meme,
and they've kept him fairly similar looking.
He's the exact same in every pretty much the exact same in every single one of them, man. It's
What's his name? Do you have it there, Bill?
It just says adoring fan.
I'm pretty sure it's Curio. I'm pretty sure it was Maximo Curio or something like that, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah. So I don't know, man. We saw a lot of stuff in this. Like I said, this was like a 45 minutes expo, and we saw combat, we saw social interactions, we saw planetary takeoff, planetary landing, everything like that. The one thing that we did not see with planetary takeoff and planetary landing, I don't think this game is going to have it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a loading screen. I don't think it's going to be seamless I don't think it's going to be a seamless entry and exits of the planet.
Right. Sure you can't pull that off.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that you can pull that off with their engine. Like,
not with their engine. Yeah,
I just don't see it,
which is upsetting. That's
kind of
for a space game. It's something you would.
Well, and you got
Star Citizen lets you.
That's what I was about to say. You got to look at this competition, right? Their only competition currently is Star Citizen and No Man's Sky and what's the other one? Whatever it is, there's a third one. I can't remember what it was. It's the competition for Star Citizen. Elite Dangerous. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So those are the three main competitions, and each of those has seamless entry and exit of planets.
Yeah.
So,
but they just can't do it.
It's very strange to me, the decision making behind that. It's very it's very strange. We did see the exit, and I don't think it was like a cutscene. Where you're
the movement looks good to me, though. I will say
it does. Yeah. Again, coming from the last time that we saw this, like the combat and the movement looks fluid as shit. Like it looks so much better. So much better.
Like
And
the
I did find
sprinting
the
to
part
combat, yeah.
I found the part in the Todd Howard interview. He did say that a lot of the times they've got it running above 60, but they cap it at the 30. So you are correct there, which makes me even more confused on why they don't just have a mode where you can prompt res.
He said it. He said
stable
it.
60.
He said it in that interview. Is it was because it was a design decision. They would have rather, granted, yes, it would look better with a 60 frames a second, but they wanted that stability. They didn't want you jumping up and down between 60 and 30, right? So in order to,
don't you think lowering the resolution they could have achieved that?
They could have, but I think what they
1440 on the S and 4K on the S.
Yeah, I think they wanted that high fidelity for the actual gameplay. So
okay,
it might be something.
Their priorities.
It might be something. It might be something that they add later on down the road. Yeah. So it's very possible. But we'll see, man.
I was looking up a little bit on the 30 FPS versus 60 FPS debate, and I found a few polls that people have done. And it most of them are very heavily leaning towards the 1080 60 if it's an option between that and 4K 30.
I mean, I would
right now had 2,000 votes, 1,300 of them were for 1080 60.
Sorry. It's just background was fake, 100%.
I thought you were calling Bill fake.
No,
like these
no.
Fake
news. Fake news, Bill. Fake news.
You're fake news, Bill.
No, I'm with him completely. When it comes down to like, if I had a choice between like fidelity, like 4K or 1080p 60, I would choose 1080p 60, 100% of the time, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
But on the other hand, I'm used to 60. I can't play games at 30. I get headaches. That's right. Like I get nauseous. Right I get motion sickness with 30 FPS.
Same.
So
yeah. That being said, though, there's not been a console game that Bethesda has made in either Fallout or Elder Scrolls, and now this that has been not capped at 30. So it's kind of the console standard.
You know what I wonder is that feeling, that motion sickness feeling, has started for me ever since I made the switch to 60, and I could never go back. Now that we're getting a taste of it on some games on consoles, I wonder if it's starting in
I don't doubt it. Yeah,
console generation. People are like, they got that taste, and they can't go back.
It's like I said before. Once you go to 60, it is really tough. It is really tough.
It's tough to go back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we're just seeing that again.
This was one of the big parts that I was interested in was ship customization. I don't know if you guys looked into this at all.
Dude, the ship, that's actually what has me the most excited about everything. They took the boring fucking bullshit that was the settlement building from Fallout 4. And they were like, you would actually do something useful with it?
Yeah, something cool.
You don't want Preston Harvey yelling at you? You want to be your own space cowboy?
Oh, there he is. That's Preston. I just saw him.
Can I just say that if they added Preston Harvey into this, I would die. I would love it.
I don't doubt that there's going to be a Preston Garvey Easter egg,
because you do
become a meme in itself.
Yeah, Garvey.
Yeah,
because they do have outposts. Like they do have bases in the game.
Yeah,
like your ship is not your sole source of like your outposts. They do actually have like, you can go down on planets. You can place down outposts. You can place down bases.
I was gonna say, he's gonna be like, another ship in your area needs your help.
I mean, that is a thing too. Like when you're up in space, there are like random events. I saw a couple of events. There was one that was like grandma's house, and it was like this little old lady, and she's like, "Oh, come aboard my ship, little sonny. I got some cookies and milk for you." And your guy was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah,
obviously, obviously.
There was a crazy grandma in Atomic Heart like that, but she was gun wielding badass, but still.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how much customization you can have with your ship. From everything that I've seen, there was some crazy ships that people have made. There was one that was like a robot, like a full-on robot, like standing on two legs and everything like that. And then when it took off, it was like,
that's cool.
And you can customize everything in the interior, from what I understand. Like you can add like armories, you can add living habitats, you can add a bigger like ship bridge. There's different manufacturers from what I understand, and each of those manufacturers that you go with that are like the different parts have different actual interior looks. Very,
Interesting.
very reminiscent of Star Citizen, I might add, because like Star Citizen, one of the biggest points on Star Citizen's ships, right, is that like each of the ships made by the different manufacturers has a different look. So one ship manufacturer is very like utilitarian. There's no panels on the inside, right? There's exposed wiring, there's exposed like pipes, everything like that.
I like that look.
yeah.
I
very much
like my ships like that.
same. Another manufacturer. There's the
Oh,
there's
wow.
the mech.
Yeah.
Yep. Another manufacturer might be like the very like the exotic like yacht, almost like the big time like big money yacht that's like all
Right.
very clean panels.
Are you
gold
actually flying the
inlays.
ships ever, or are they just to
Yeah.
transfer?
No, you
to,
fly you
oh,
fly the ships. Yep.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you
Is
can
there
fly them
gonna
on
be
planet.
is there going to be surface? I was about to say, is there surface flight, or
I'm
is
not
it just
entirely sure. I'm not entirely
That's
sure
what I
about
was.
that.
That's
that's one
mostly
of
what
the
I was wondering.
that's one of the biggest confusions because they never actually show it that I remember. I don't think they actually show you.
Man, this
flying
guy
on the
looks
planet,
excited to be here.
for sure.
This-
So I lost my train of thought. Customization.
I didn't
yeah.
know you're
Customization on it. It seems like it's going to be very very customizable. Like you can almost like make your ship into your own personality. Like you can give your ship your personality. So
That's
I'm
pretty cool.
I'm extremely excited about that because I do like customization. That was one part of Fallout 4 that I actually personally enjoyed. I know not
game
a lot
doesn't
of other
have
people
hair
did.
physics though, so
Game does not have hair physics.
Nope.
But that was a
Oh,
big part of Fallout 4 that I liked was like the customization of your settlement, right? So
yeah.
um,
You like the base building?
I did like the base building. Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
didn't mind it.
After mods,
I just
I
didn't-
will say after mods, I liked the base building after mods.
Speaking of mods,
the original base building was
True.
trash.
yeah,
this game is going to be the modder's paradise. Holy crap. Like,
is.
if half the worlds are empty, like I kind of expect them to be,
I
where they're
don't
just
doubt
like
it.
resource hubs,
yeah.
imagine modders getting their hands on this kind of stuff and actually being able to like flesh out and like,
Oh yeah.
For sure.
it's going to be
Modders
good,
are
man.
going to make total like cityscapes. Like it's gonna be nuts.
So this
cannot
what
wait
this
for
right
that.
here, this is what makes me think that there's no like takeoff, like there's no
That's-
seamless
Yeah.
entry.
It looks cinematic.
So this looks like a cinematic, like a cutscene.
That's
to
what
me.
I was thinking too.
So-
I saw it earlier.
Yeah. So
So
that's what.
that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, like we said, I don't think that they're
Just wait till modders unlock it.
I don't think that their engine can take it, honestly. Like I just don't think
Yeah.
that it's capable
Yeah.
of doing so. But
no, it's
their
not.
space flight looks good. I'm not gonna lie, like their space flight
it looks
does
better
look,
than the
doesn't
Star
look like a
Wars
brick.
Outlaw did.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
look terrible. Like honestly, it's and this was another system that I was really impressed with. They actually give you the ability to shift your power in your ship. So like if you're getting attacked, you can shift your power from like your engines to your shields and your weapons. Or if you're
That is
not
really neat.
if you're not getting attacked and you want to go fast, you can shift everything to your engines. You can shift everything to your shields. So
That's cool. They actually have like a space sim kind of
I
features
def-
and whatnot.
yeah, they got piracy, which was one thing that I was impressed with. I don't
That
know
is
why.
Some space outlaws.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, but yeah, they got piracy in there. You got different actual.
Can you board like enemy
yes,
ships?
yes, you can. That was another thing that I was very impressed with, and I think they show it. Let me see. Right here, yeah. So he's talking about it right here. So he's going to go over here, board this ship, dock it,
Oh,
and then
that's
you're inside
cool.
of the ship, and you can take out the crew inside the ship, and actually like
Oh, that's
You can
that's
actually
gonna
take-
be fun.
you can actually take the ship and add it to your fleet
Or sell it?
or sell it. So
Okay.
kind of interesting, man. Like I'm
So
digging.
that's gonna add a good implements for like random encounters type
Kinda, yeah.
situations.
I am also
I wonder
curious.
if there's going to be. I'm assuming there's going to be like a morale system where you can like
I would-
go good,
yeah.
evil,
Yeah.
or good, bad,
What
neutral.
has- I don't
Send
know.
bounty hunters after you and that kind of stuff.
I would personally find that very cool.
I
I
hope
would find that
they
unique.
make the morale system in this game pretty heavy though. I feel like it's
Yeah.
always been kind of a loose morale system in previous Fallouts and other
Very much.
Bethesda games. Like it's
Yeah.
never had
Right.
much of an impact on the actual like gameplay.
This guy is wild to me, dude. Like that face tattoo, man.
I'm waiting for it.
That's crazy,
yeah.
dude. So I'm
He
curious to see
looks-
how big you can make your ship too, because like if you can make your ship,
It looks pretty big
That
on that
big?
robot.
like if you can make your ship that big, like a Star Freighter
Oh.
ship,
Yeah,
that'd be crazy, man. I don't know.
that would be.
That would be cool for something to work towards, you know, like a progression for like ship
But that also
expansions.
kind of begs another question of like being able to board ships and take them over. Are you going to be able to have like your own little fleet, or is it just going to add that
Maybe.
ship to the ability for you to fly that ship instead of your other ship, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably what it is.
Like different horses.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's
like
probably what it is.
I think that would be.
I would like you to be able to take like the parts off of that ship and like fuse it to
I think
the
that's
current
what
ship
the you
instead
I
of-
can
can.
see that.
I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure
think
you
you-
can do that already, and that's what it's based
Yeah.
off of. But I would
Oh,
almost
that man
personally
sandwich.
that he can. This chick apparently likes filling her cargo hold with sandwiches. I don't really
man.
understand it, but hey,
Skyrim, it was
You do
Cinnabons,
what you
and
wanna do, man.
Starfield, it's sandwiches.
It would be very interesting though if you could like
That transition was legendary, bro. Y'all seen that? Y'all catch that? The
No.
sandwich
Sandwich
to
to the
the planet?
sandwich to
Yeah,
the
man.
moon.
That was a transition.
Oh man, look
good.
at that! Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool though, if you could do like you could have your companions take over another ship and then fly around as a fleet. I personally would
Yeah.
enjoy that quite a bit. I don't think it's going to be that way, but we'll have
No.
to see.
Well, probably not. It'll probably just be a garage system.
I would
Yeah.
imagine that's probably going to be it. They were talking about zero gravity. This was kind of interesting to me. Different gravities on both Earth and in
Ooh.
like space stations and stuff,
Earth.
or the planets, whatever you want to call it, right? Different gravities if you're using different types of weapons
Look-
do
We
different
got some
things.
caves.
So if you're using a ballistic weapon in low gravity, it's going to push you back. If you're using laser
That's
weapons
cool.
in low gravity, they don't push you back, right? There's no.
But you
there's
can
no
actually use
recoil.
that to your benefit.
Yeah.
I'd imagine too. That's kind of
Probably,
cool.
I would imagine at least. Yep.
Jump
Yeah.
shotgun and just blast yourself across
Yeah,
the
man.
map.
Or the opposite, like, you know, jump towards somebody with a shotgun blast, shoot it behind you, boom.
So
Did they show
and
you melee weapons,
Yes.
by the way?
They
in all
showed
of this?
they showed punching, and I think they showed
Yeah.
a machete of some sort.
Okay.
Earlier, your dude did like a running charge, like Hadouken.
yeah.
Knocked
At-
some dude off a cliff.
towards the end of this as well, they have a like almost like a magic system as well, which I found was kind of weird. But I think it,
Magic?
yeah, it's like,
like
it's like the
lasers and stuff, like a laser.
no, it's like
system, or-
it's like a gravity manipulation power of some
Oh,
sort.
okay. I could see that.
They also
Most
have
nothing
space
like
games
to-
have that.
they also
so-
have
Yeah.
like a power that you can like charm like aliens. I don't know. It's weird shit. I don't
Charisma's always done weird.
I
things.
don't see the
Yep.
magic being believable, but we'll see how they do it.
No, if it's like a most space games have like a
This is-
gravity gun type
this
deal.
is
or a
fucking
grab
weird.
glove.
This is
Grav
fucking
glove,
This
yeah.
is fucking weird. They're releasing the collector's edition. You get a watch.
It's a cool watch, but it's gonna be
It-
like $500.
This watch is just a
It's-
watch though. Like if it was a smartwatch, like an Apple Watch, I would be like, okay, that's cool because it's like $300.
I just use regular watches.
You have to remember this is Bethesda we're talking about. They put merchandising ahead of a lot of things, just like Blizzard puts the
Yeah.
microtransaction store
Very true.
above most things.
Yeah.
Very
Do you
true.
not remember the Fallout 76
Dude.
rum that was botched to all hell?
Oh, and not only everything
And
in
the
Fallout
canvas
76.
bags.
The canvas bags were like,
Canvas bags that
Plastic.
weren't actually canvas. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Patch Notes. Don't forget, you can catch our cast live every Thursday night at 10:30 Eastern Standard, right here on YouTube and Twitch.tv. You can also find us at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast, as well as the many other podcast platforms. You better be there.